Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're diving into the secret engine that literally prevents growing companies from descending into utter, absolute chaos. It's an incredibly powerful concept in organizational behavior called departmentation. If you've ever wanted to know how the absolute biggest companies in the world manage to function without imploding, well, you are in the right place. Let's get right into it.
Picture a small, scrappy startup. You know the vibe. Maybe 10 people crammed into a single room. Everyone's just kind of doing a little bit of everything, right? You don't need a formal structure because you can just yell across the desk to get things done. It works perfectly for that size. But ask yourself this: what on earth happens when that 10-person team explodes into 10,000 employees scattered all over the globe?
The whole dynamic just completely flips. While a small team thrives on that easy, informal chat, a massive multinational company, without systematic organization, it is pure, unadulterated chaos. Nobody knows who reports to whom, or who's actually handling the critical tasks. As you scale, managing every single activity through just one or two individuals becomes practically impossible. You desperately need a logical way to divide the work up so that managers aren't completely drowning and the company can actually hit its goals.
So here's the fix. The antidote to all that inevitable chaos is what we call departmentation. Essentially, it's the systematic process of grouping similar activities into separate, logical units. It's truly one of the most foundational principles of management. Instead of having everyone try to do everything, and probably failing, you classify the work into meaningful buckets. This logical division means your team can build intense expertise in their specific fields, and managers can actually, manage. Productivity shoots up, and decision-making gets so much sharper.
So how do companies actually pull this off? Well, we're going to look at 5 distinct patterns they use: departmentation by business function, organizing by products or services, expanding across geographical locations, matrix organizations, and finally, network organizations.
Starting with number 1, departmentation by business function.
Now, this is undoubtedly the most widely used method globally, especially if we're talking about manufacturing firms, hospitals, or government agencies. The core idea is super straightforward. Put the employees who are performing similar work into the exact same department. Take a behemoth like Samsung. They make smartphones, TVs, home appliances, semiconductors, just a massive variety of stuff. If all those employees worked under one giant umbrella without departmental divisions, it would be a total nightmare. To prevent that, Samsung creates separate, highly specialized departments: R&D, production, finance, marketing. Each one hyper-focuses on its own specialized responsibilities while still driving towards Samsung's big-picture goals.
But hey, no system is perfect, right? Let's weigh the pros and cons here. On the plus side, you get incredible specialization and totally clear responsibilities. Because people are laser-focused on one type of work, their efficiency just skyrockets, and you completely eliminate duplicate work. The catch, though, it can seriously slow down decision-making, since big choices often need a thumbs up from multiple functional managers. Plus, it can brew some pretty intense departmental rivalry, where the marketing team and the finance team start prioritizing their own turf over the actual goals of the company as a whole.
Moving on to number 2, organizing by products or services. This pattern becomes absolutely crucial when a company scales up by launching completely different lines of goods. Look at how a titan like Tata Motors handles their immense scale. Instead of just organizing by business function, they create separate, fully self-sustaining divisions for their different product lines: passenger vehicles, commercial vehicles, EVs, and luxury cars. Massive consumer goods companies like Unilever do the exact same thing for food, personal care, and beauty products. By setting it up this way, they give each specific product line its very own dedicated production, marketing, finance, and customer support teams.
The trade-offs here are genuinely fascinating. The upside? Unbelievable product focus. Decisions happen so much faster because managers actually have the authority to act right within their own division. They can respond to customer needs instantly, and innovation just thrives. But the trap, and it's a big one, is resource duplication. Because every single product division now needs its own finance team, its own HR folks, its own marketing staff. Your overall operational costs are going to jump up significantly.
Next up, number 3, expanding across geographical locations.
You see, sometimes the biggest hurdle to scaling isn't what you're selling, it's where you're selling it. Picture a map carved up into north, south, east, and west regional offices. Heavy hitters like Coca-Cola, Amazon, and Reliance Retail lean on this geographical structure all the time. Why? Because a customer's preferences, the climate, local market conditions, they differ wildly from region to region.
Local managers understand these nuances way better than some executives sitting at a headquarters 1,000 miles away. Think about it. A brand's strategy for selling winter jackets in northern India has to be completely different from how they'd sell in the south. Regional managers just get that local flavor.
So, the big takeaway here is that organizing geographically gives you a massive edge in understanding the local market. It lets you respond rapidly to local demands, and it's actually fantastic for leadership development, giving regional managers real hands-on administrative experience. But headquarters definitely needs to keep an eye on the downsides. Just like with the product structure, you're going to face high administrative costs because you're duplicating things like marketing and finance in every single territory. Also, that internal regional competition, it can get so fierce that local managers become obsessed with beating each other, completely losing sight of the overall company vision.
And now for numbers 4 and 5, matrix organizations and network organizations.
These two are really modern adaptations, built specifically for the ultra-dynamic, hyper-competitive business environments we're all operating in today. First, the matrix structure. This one blends functional and project-based setups to give a company incredible internal flexibility. Employees literally report to both a functional manager and a project manager. It's a brilliant way to share highly specialized talent across multiple projects, which is why you see it constantly in engineering, consulting, and aerospace. Then, we have the network structure. This one looks completely outward. It's all about external collaboration, outsourcing your non-core activities, like manufacturing or logistics, to specialized partners, so your core team can just focus on what they do best. If you want to see the network concept executed perfectly, just look at Apple. They design their iconic products entirely in-house. That is their ultimate core competency. That's where they keep all their specialized talent. But they leverage a network structure by linking up with highly specialized manufacturing partners globally to actually build the physical devices. They don't want or need to own every single factory in the supply chain. Instead, they just rely on an elite network of global partners to handle the heavy lifting.
Let's wrap this up with designing your future organization.
All right, let's look at how all these pieces form a toolkit you can actually use to design a highly scalable company. Think of this as your ultimate departmentation cheat sheet. The functional structure, that brings specialization. The product structure, that brings intense focus. Geography, local responsiveness. But here's the real secret. As markets get more complex, massive multinationals almost never rely on just one of these. They stack them. A massive corporation might divide itself geographically, but within those regions, they organize by product, and inside those products, they break it down by function. It's all about weaving these different forms together to hit that sweet spot of maximum flexibility and efficiency. Which brings us to a final thought for you to chew on. Whether you're a future manager or running a business right now, how will you combine these structures to adapt your own organization to this crazy dynamic global economy? Because departmentation isn't just some dry, abstract theory. It is quite literally the architectural blueprint for scaling up successfully. Mastering these patterns is how you build a company that's adaptable, ruthlessly efficient, and built for the long haul. Thanks so much for tuning into this explainer. I really hope it gives you a fresh lens on how the world's biggest organizations actually manage to pull it all off.